Hey everyone, here's everything I tried to make money before getting into the financial market. So I started off working at 15. I had what they call OJT, where you get out of high school early to go to your job. And I did the after school summer programs, basically working with elementary and middle school kids, setting up groups, going to events like field trips, helping with homework, games, and specifically my big part was I love tutoring and math, specifically the kids out there. Now, in the meantime, when I was a teenager, I did some construction work. I did tile construction, and I realized at an early age, I did not like physical labor. My back hurt, my knees hurt, and I did not want to get into anything like that at all. So when I finally got into college, and you have to remember, I was not a great student. I mean, if you know me, you know I'm all over the place. I never even took SATs in high school. In fact, I didn't know what they were. In Florida, back in the day, as long as you passed, it was it FCAT, I believe it was called, your sophomore year in high school, you're basically guaranteed to graduate. It was like a standardized test. So I was good. Now, post high school, go to community college, on and off. Again, not a good student at all. So I did try to make money other ways when I was, post college or post high school, so to speak. I tried doing jobs like selling supplements. I had a buddy who was sponsored getting like the pre-workout and protein powders that he would have all this extra that I would try to sell. And that was not great money, to say the least, and a lot of work with shipping and stuff. But then I had a buddy who was a chiropractor, and he said, Lance, why don't you work with me? And I said, hey, I need money. I'm sick of living at home. So I did that. I would basically stretch people out, hook people up to the e-stim pads, book appointments, everything like that. And I had no training, so you have to love Florida because, the Florida chiropractor laws and stuff like that, I don't even know what they were, but I did that for a little bit, and I am not trained in any kind of medical, so that was interesting to say the least. And then the worst job I ever had was by far Northwestern Mutual. And if you Google Northwestern Mutual S, look what pops up. It says Northwestern Mutual scam. And in my opinion, well, I'm a straight shooter, it is. Basically, at my college, they were a big sponsor. And what they would do was they would hire about 30 kids, your commission only, zero salary, and you basically sell life insurance. Now, I didn't know anything at the time. You gotta remember, yes, the internet was around, but people weren't making reviews and there was no Reddit forums or anything like that. So I thought, hey, this is a great way to get into the financial markets. Well, you go there, you have some time to pass all these, the state exams to get licensed, and then you basically go through your contacts and say, hey, do you need life insurance? Well, not many 20-year-olds need life insurance, so to speak. And out of those 30 folks who started off, those 30 students, I remember about after a month or two, there was only 8 left. That's it, only 8 left. And the ones that were left were ones with rich parents and good contacts that they could say, hey, need to buy some life insurance? Sure, I'll help you out, Johnny, no problem. Me, zilch. Zero sales, zero money, zero contacts. And that is when I realized, hey, this is BS. So I got out of that ASAP. There was no route to getting into any kind of capital markets or anything. So that was really, really heartbreaking for me because I thought, man, this was it. So now as I'm getting older, and I started to, finally go to a real college, the university. I think, what am I going to do post-college? There was not opportunities like there is today. You have to figure, back when I was in college, this is right after the financial crisis. So there was not a lot of jobs in finance opening up. So my big thing that I finally had hope was for Target. Yes, Target stores. They had, I believe it was a manager, some kind of manager position hiring, and they had recruits come to the university. Now, you have to figure, when I grew up, it was be a teacher, become a firefighter, police officer, post office worker, something that was safe, guaranteed pension where after 30 years you can retire. Yes, they don't pay a lot of money, but it's safe. There was no entrepreneur spirit, so to speak. So I thought to myself, well, let's look into Target. And the pay, I believe at the time, was $50,000 per year, maybe even $60,000 a year. And that was more than any other job I could ever hope for. It was a lot of money to me at the time. So I went through the interview process, and it was a series of interviews. And I remember towards the end, I asked the recruiter, hey, what would my work schedule be like if I were to get hired? And she said specifically, you'll work nights, you'll work weekends, you'll work holidays. I can't do that. There's no way. Yes, I'm a hard worker, and lots of jobs I did got me into, that hard work ethic, but I cannot work Black Friday, jolly old Saint Nick, Santa Claus coming into town. I can't be at Target working. Not at all. So I said, hey, I will pass on this. I don't care about the money. In fact, probably one of the best decisions I did, because I could not imagine working, 60, 70 hours a week at Target any more there. So then my advisor, I told him in college, what am I going to do? And he gave me the best advice possible. He said, Lance, you got to put in the hard work. You're going to have to grind. You got a degree from a regular university. You ain't nothing special. Now, at first I was taken back. Why? I just spent all this time going to community college, now the real university. You're telling me I ain't nothing? But it was true. It was definitely true. So that's when I started to really grind. I would cold call investment funds. I would reply to job posts. I would intern, work for free, do whatever I could to make my name in the financial markets just to get experience. So with all the crazy jobs I had, I don't even know if I did tile work and construction as a teenager too, which was not for me. My back hurt, my knees hurt. I did the school, working with the kids in the school tutoring. I did the chiropractor. I did the Northwestern Mutual. All those jobs, the one thing they did for me was give me at least some experience of what I like, what I disliked, carve the path that's never straight, lots of sideways, lots of curves to lead to where I am today. And you have to figure, if you're working these odd jobs or trying these odd jobs nowadays, you do have so much more out there. You have Uber, you have Amazon drop shipping, you have all this online stuff that you can do, right? Which is super cool. But usually if everyone's doing it and it's easy with a low barrier to entry, you're gonna either A, have to grind to excel, or B, in my opinion, carve your own path. Take that experience to get you through what you need at the time. Think of it as a bridge going over a river, and go bridge over bridge over bridge until you land at your destination. Because boy, I tell you, if I had to go back and do what I did nowadays, I am spoiled and I could never do it. So I applaud you if you're going through it right now, and let me know in the comments below what odd jobs you did to make money to hold you through during those rough times. I'd love to hear it. And make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Well, leave me all those comments.